Welcome to Nonconventional, where we interview unconventional people or people with unconventional careers. My name is Ela Crain, and today we have Tim Vieira with us. Tim requires very little introduction. He's quite well known, but very briefly, he's the founder of Special Edition Holding, which employs more than 400 people. And these days, he's very busy with Brave Generation Academy, which teaches hybrid programs to people over 12. Tim also has many companies in Africa and in Portugal, but to kind of start our conversation, I will touch briefly Brave Generation Academy. Tim, I would like to talk about, first of all, education. Yeah. Knowing that you dropped out of university and today you have an academy teaching people, can you please explain us or tell us your story? What happened?
Yeah, so look, thank you very much, Elif, for having me on Unconventional. Great name, and I finally feel that I fit in, so it's really good. But as you say, it's strange, to think about someone who dropped out going into education. But maybe, that's why I understand what we need in education, because I didn't actually fit in. I was a bit of a misfit, okay? But I must say that I loved school. It was just school that didn't love me.
Yeah.
Okay. And I loved the friends. I loved all the passions I could pursue with regards to sport and some of the subjects. But, I've suffered from dyslexia, so it's not understood at that time. And I struggled a bit, but, in those days, you sort of beat the dyslexia out of you, so it worked. I got into university, and then, as you say, I dropped out. And I really dropped out, I can say, maybe because, I knew what I wanted to do, which was be an entrepreneur, open businesses, make my own future, be able to produce, create wealth. And I was going to a university that I had people there that I didn't see them doing that. I saw them as lecturers that were telling me what to do, but they weren't doing it. And I almost just wanted to spend time with people that were doing it.
Exactly.
And for me, that was university, that's education. Mm-hmm. So when I started looking at Brave Generation Academy, I looked at it and said, how do we throw it all away? Mm-hmm. How do I not call myself a school? Because even calling myself a school brings you back to something that we've been doing for 200 years, the same way, and everyone at the same speed, everyone doing the same subjects. How do we use the technology we have today and make it personal? Have our students able to follow those passions, find their purpose, go at their own speed, flexible, teach them perseverance, creative thinking, all those things that we need for when we do come out at 18 and we say, okay, I know something, I'm prepared. Not when you come out at 18 and say, oh, I don't know what I like, let me try this. I've never failed. I've never tried to be something that I think I might like to be. And then when I tried, I didn't like it. So I decided that's not for me. We'll try something else. And that's what we did with Brave Generation Academy. We decided, okay, we've got to change this, almost saying, our track record looking backwards. But we wanted to change things to the future. Mm-hmm. And the only way we could do that was by saying, okay, we need to bring in technology. And with technology, we can do so many more subjects. With technology, we can go at our own pace. We get all this flexibility. We get so many good things that every student, every learner that's with us, it's like personal, it's like for them. Then we also wanted to bring in people that would mentor them. Mm-hmm. And we called them learning coaches. And they really are mentors because our curriculum is given to you, perfectly with a motivated lesson, one by one. But then we needed these mentors to be there to help you through it, but more importantly, to connect you with those passions you like or those purposes you like and the community and with the skills you're looking for. And then also, breaking away from a traditional, let's say, schooling system, we wanted to have these smaller hubs, but these hubs that had, students from 12 to 18, so there would be a lot more peer-to-peer. There would be a lot of more empathy between our students, because that's the real world. We learn from other people. We don't ask, how old are you? Because you're older than me, you should this or that. No, people are at different stages. We go at different rates. It's a real melting pot. So we got people from every country. It's like unbelievable. And then we really keep to these three pillars, which is knowledge, skills, and community. So we don't have our own tennis courts, but we've got like 28 tennis courts around us because we've got the whole community. We've got golf teachers, we've got music teachers, art teachers. It's unbelievable what's out there. And the community wants to teach. It was something we used to do long ago. We used to spend time doing apprenticeships, learning things, and getting given knowledge downwards. And then we decided, no, we'll build a wall and we'll teach you everything you need, and then good luck. But good luck isn't working anymore.
No.
We've got to a point where we get to like my age, 50 years old, 45 years old, whatever it may be. And you ask so many people, are you happy? And they say, no, I studied the wrong thing. I did the wrong thing. I never learned this. I should have been, braver. I should have tried. I should have not listened to everyone who told me something. I should have done it myself. I should have had more experiences. And that's what we want to do is, help our learners knowing that they can learn throughout life. They don't know what they're going to be. And they might be something for 3 years and then be something else for a year.
Yeah.
There's so many things happening in this world. And then obviously, I think we're living in the most exciting time of the world. We've got all these mad leaders. That's an opportunity for us to breed better leaders for the future.
Yeah.
And if we do that, we're living in this period that everything is achievable. You can go viral over something, so you might as well do something good. And also the youngsters want good things, and they're actually good people, and they want to be better than the older generations, let's say. So we were very greedy in the past and all that, and all that I see it in our students. I see that they're more interested in giving than receiving, but they're just not allowed to do it. So once you empower students to do that, they're incredible. They flourish. That's it.
And how is the students' daily schedule different than in traditional schools and other schools like Montessori or Lumiere in Brazil, etc.?
Totally different, because there is no, let's say, daily schedule.
Okay.
I'll tell you there's a weekly schedule. So our students know what they have to achieve for the week. So they know what they have to do for biology, for science, for maths. They know where they have to go play sports. They know that maybe they're doing music. So they know that for the week.
So there's a target for the week.
There's a target. So there's a target always, and they know the target. It's called their timeline. Okay. But how they do it is up to them.
Okay.
So, if they wake up and there's waves, they'll go surf in the morning and then go to school. They don't have to go to school, and when they come out of school, there's no waves.
I wish I could go to your school.
Yeah, I get a lot of that. Most of the parents want to come back to school.
Yeah.
But,
do you have an adult version coming soon?
But that's the difference. We really empower you, And then on a Monday, we look at your timeline, we see how you've done, and it's an honest talk between saying, you've achieved this, great, great, great. You've missed out here, and the student can tell us, I didn't do that, but I'm going to do it this week. Okay, great. There you go. It's also more flexible because we're able to do exams twice a year. So if it doesn't go well in May, you do November. There's less anxiety. It's not depressions that our kids are going through. And I always think this 12 to 18, you mentioned Montessori's and Lumiere, a lot of these schools are really great when they're young, because there's a lot of things happening when they're young, and lots of, let's say, alternate systems.
Yeah.
But then 12 to 18, there's very little. It's almost like traditional schooling or homeschooling.
Yeah.
And then universities now are also changing. So there's changes in these two, but this area, which for me is like vital, because that's what made me, was those years. From 12 to 18, if you had to, I could make a movie of my life just between that. At 14, I crashed a car, wrote it off, almost died. There was a lot of stuff that went through. Yeah, at 14. So these are things that happened in my life, and I know they shaped my life.
Yeah.
So what we try to do here is, we've got kids that are skate champions, surf champions, horse riding champions, swimming champions, they're big into music. These kids actually are able to peer kids into also getting new purposes.
Okay.
And it's difficult as a parent. You tell your parent, you go learn the guitar, go learn the guitar, go learn the guitar. The kid doesn't do it.
Yeah.
But now he's actually in a hub where one kid plays the guitar and says, you want to learn this song? Yeah, learn that song. All of a sudden, he's into music. He tries skateboarding. When you got someone that's good at it, showing, you try it. And then also what happens is that the student that's playing the guitar gets better at it. And he knows that he needs to get even better, because in that way, he'll be looked up at. So you create confidence and you create system between them. This whole peer-to-peer system. And that's
and support.
Magical. It's magical. And you know what? Learning coaches and parents just get out the way and you see it going. And then you see, kids don't have to be at our hubs more than 5 hours a day, but they stay there long. They play chess, they play music, they talk to each other, they go to lunch with each other because we don't have food at our hub. So you go eat at the local restaurant. We have a plato dia, plate of the day, or you bring your food, microwave it. We have fridges, microwaves, water, and a screen, and then games, chess, etc., etc. So there's a lot of empowerment, and they're so good at it.
Yeah. And one thing that I noticed that we don't learn at school is basics. For example, money management, or even breathing. Like some connection to our body, or even nutrition. Do you cover such alternative areas?
Yeah. So this is what we do. We do the knowledge, and we do this lower secondary RGCs and A levels. Then we do a lot of what we call these BIDs, these interest degrees, okay? And that's where we bring all that in. So we bring money management, whatever it may be. We use massive online open courses that we link to the kids, okay? And when a kid likes something, if he likes coding, he's just going to do more of it, and he becomes an expert at it, If breathing is only interesting for one child, he can do it. If one child wants to do yoga, he can do it. But it's never enforced on everyone.
Okay.
But if one benefit sees it and another one sees it and says, I'm going to try it as well, great. So we really don't impose, but we open options.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and the great thing about this is that we can do it in Lisbon, we can do it in London, we can do it in Lagos, Nigeria, Luanda, Angola, at the same quality. So we can do this whole knowledge at the same quality, and they come out with an RGC and an A level, and they can go to a university. And then we can also bring these experiences that are around your community into our hub, wherever it may be. So it's super special.
Yeah.
So I think that's, we don't come with like closed minds, but at the same time, we give you the basics and then we let you expand, and that's how we create individualism.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how we create people that are thinking and people that are passionate and find their purpose and change the world. And we need that, but obviously our mentors, they work on values and ethics because it's something we forgot about, and it's something that is a building block for sure.
Yeah.
I want our school to take us back to the day where we shake hands, and it means something. You understand?
Yeah.
Because at the moment it doesn't. Where's your contract? We sign an NDA, we do this. No, we need to start trusting again, because that's the only way we'll become a better society. And that's in our hub. When kids help each other, they start believing people are good.
Yeah.
Because they are, And I also believe that we start creating less vampires, less people that just take, but more people that create. So I think it's a model that isn't based on all this, maybe let's say psychology and pediology and all these things. It's based a lot on common sense, okay, about how do we keep a kid happy? Keep him busy.
Yeah.
If he's busy and doing things he likes, he's great. How do we keep a parent happy? Keep the kid happy, and the parents happy. We don't work it the other way around, And we've seen the growth. We've now got, I think, 12 hubs in Portugal, a hub in Mozambique, hubs in South Africa. We've got our first pilot that will go into the US. We've got a pilot that will go into India. And so it's exciting times. So we're really, really excited about it. And we see that in the end, everyone wants to be a better person of themselves, and they want to do it by not feeling like embarrassed to try and fail. And if they fail, it's fun, So it's really important. And the other thing is, kids are so different. We always put them in the same box. If you're 12, you're there. If you're 13, you're there. If you're 14, you're there. But there are kids that are 12 that can be doing what 14-year-olds do. And there are 14-year-olds that need to do for a year or two what a 13-year-old is doing, and then they quickly grow again. So that's also what's exciting. We get to do that. It's good.
So you're creating people who maintain their individuality and individual taste, but who know how to collaborate, basically.
Yeah, 100%. We're creating a better future, because that's exactly what we need. We need people that collaborate. We need people that admire what other people do. If one's great at art, we want people to say, wow, that's our best artist here. And not only compare people to maths and science. And if someone is great at maths, we know who's great at maths, and he helps us to get better ourselves. Because, success is becoming better ourselves. It's not measured between us. It's not, it's really how do we feel about each other, like about myself. And then others see us positive and confident. And at the moment, no, we look at others and then compare with them. No, we need to be ourselves, you know. So that's a lot of what we work. And it's really, you know, even with our learning coaches, we take, you know, people that have just finished their degree. We take them on and we say, you know, you've done a degree in engineering or architecture, and now you're going to be working with these kids. It's, you know, and they grow themselves because now they get networking between kids. They start becoming mentors, which means they need to act better. You know, they need to be open. So sometimes they themselves are growing. Then they get a lot of network with the parents, and then they go into the community, and you know the community loves it because they economically gaining from it. And then we're able to do this again at a very, let's say, reduced competitive price. And we're able to even do it for people that would never get this kind of education. We can say yes to them. Because even some of our parents sponsor a kid, like give an extra 35 euros and it goes towards the sponsorship. And we work in a B Corp system. So where we make profit, we're able to give back and take more kids onto that because our purpose is students. You know?
And is there still failure in this system? The students
every day, because
failure
is growth. Because obviously the kids are still going to sometimes not achieve what they wanted, or you know, feel like, wow, I try so hard and I'm not getting there, etc., etc. So it happens. You know, the only thing we do is we say, swallow it. Tomorrow's another day. Have you done your best? Yes, you have. Okay, let's keep going. And in a week's time, let's see where you are. And obviously it takes a month sometimes for kids to understand the platform and all that kind of stuff. But once they start to master it and get more confidence, you know, they also understand, okay, this is easy now. Let me try and push myself and try something different. And when you push yourself, you can fail. But it's great. It's a good feeling to, you know, sometimes also not only be successful. And that's where I find in many traditional schooling is you never fail until you leave it.
But that failure you're talking about is coming from the inside, from the person's own judgment. What the failure I'm curious about is the external failure that we are labeled with, like, oh, you failed your class, or you failed this exam kind of failure. Is there such a thing?
You don't fail there, really. You delayed. Because if you failed it in May, you write it in November. Or you actually realize maybe that's not for me. And that's okay, because if you realize that at 14, it's better than realizing that at 24. Okay? And what we do find is when someone really finds out what they like, you know, you actually, failure is not even an option. It's not, it doesn't, you know, because failure is fear. In the end, it's almost like breeds fear. Okay? And that's why our name is Brave. We try it. Didn't work, it's a delay. Just move on. You understand what I'm saying? We don't look back, you know. We don't have a track record. We don't work on past history. We're looking at future. So the quicker you get into that in this world, the quicker you actually don't look back, because it's very difficult to go forward when you're looking back. Okay, so we really push this onto the way of our kids. And our kids start telling others, oh, that's all right, don't worry about that. It's like, you're so good at this or you're so good at that. But it becomes a way of thinking. It's you know, when you think about mind power and all that, it's huge. It's superpower. It's like a superpower if you're not worried about fear, you know. And then also we teach people common sense. And common sense takes away many fears, okay? Because common sense makes you look at some numbers and you say, this doesn't hurt me. I'm not scared. Or you listen to people telling you should be scared and you take it. So we bring in a lot of common sense. We let you ask the right questions, because that's how learning is about. You ask questions and you don't wait for a teacher to answer, but you look at experience. You find data yourself. Because at the moment we're also in this world that we can find data for everything, okay? And we get told everything. But is it always correct? Is it always right? Should it scare us? Or should we always look at it and say, you know, we're lasting until we're 82 years old. That's already a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest, you know. Little things like, you know, 250,000 people die a day. I'm alive, great, good stuff. You understand? Should we worry about all these little negatives, or should we think bigger? You know? So it's really that, because I think we sometimes just been closed in, you know, and said, you all worry about the same thing.
Yeah,
It's a waste of
exactly.
time.
There were like 105 billion people estimated to be born on this planet, and only 7.5 roughly is around. And sitting here, and anyone is watching here, like it means you have electricity, you have internet. So
You
it's
have a
just
bath
like
every day
exactly,
almost, you know.
exactly. It's a big
it never
privilege.
used to happen, you know.
So you see failure as a temporary dysfunction, not like a state that is the end of a.
Yeah, no, I see failure as life. It's life. It is what it is, you know. If I'm going to be looking back at the failure, it's a problem. If I fail and I'm making a new plan and said, okay, you know, now I'm going to go this way, well, that's okay. But I really don't like to waste time on failure because, you know, there's going to be so many failed things, you know, starting from personal things. You know, you might get divorced. Then you can say, is that a failure or did you learn something? Yeah. Let's go with learning. Okay. A job. I got fired. Was that so bad or did I get an experience and I met some networkers and this, etc. So it's selections you have to do in life. Mm-hmm. Okay. And psychologically and socially, we've been said, no, it's a total failure. It's a real failure. But, you know, if you look at it in another way, because you can never fail. You can never fail. That means you've also never tried.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, that's quite a boring life. Mm-hmm. If you never do anything, you don't fail. Mm-hmm. But what have you done? Zero, you know?
So in that context, was there a moment when you thought, okay, I failed at this because I do not see any other ways of trying it. This is not working for me. Maybe it's the wrong time. Maybe I'm the wrong person to do this. Was there any time that you felt almost like stuck or not?
No, if I'm stuck, it's because I don't know someone else. I don't have a network to help me.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know how to ask for help. I'm not confident enough in saying, listen, I'm struggling on this. Can you just help me? There's a lot of things I don't know. I'm super bad at numbers, at technology, but you know, our businesses do really well with it.
Yeah.
Because I've got help. There are things that I know I don't need to do because it's going to be a total failure. You need to know how to ask for help. You need to know how to have those skills that you don't become a narcissist. You don't become an arsehole. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, you need to be humble. You need to, and all that kind of stuff comes by you knowing you're good at some stuff and you're really bad at other stuff. Mm. And knowing that if you know other people, you will be overall more successful. And then the other thing is, don't keep comparing yourself to everyone else. It's not, you know, I could be richer, but would I be happier? No, I wouldn't, because I know that what I've done, my choices I've done have been choices on my heart more than on the mind of money. And I'm happy with that. You know, especially as I get older, because I know I'm going to die anyway. Mm-hmm. So why die very rich or have a lot of fun? You know, so those are the kind of things I've understood that with kids like my children, it's not about how much money I make. It's about how much time and how much love I give them. So the more love and the more time I give them, the happier they are. The happier they are, the better I'm going to have with them in the future. Mm-hmm. So you start to learn these things, but it's all common sense. Yeah. But we don't, you know, we look at success as more money. We look at success as this. I've got a very rich friend who has no time with his kids. Is he rich? I'd say he's very poor.
Yeah, he's money rich, but in areas very poor, I guess.
He's life poor.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's what you need to look at it in the concept of what are you leaving behind? Where are the smiles going to come from? Where are the tears going to come from when you leave? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not just who's waiting for a check at the end.
Yeah.
All right?
So what is success for you then?
No, look, I think for success is you being able to do what you like, not, you know, always worried about the bottom line. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, I think you're super successful because you can do it with a lot of passion. You can really get into it. And you wake up early and you go to sleep late and you wake up early again, you go to sleep late and you have a problem sleeping because your mind is like super excited and thinking, and is everything perfect? No, it's not, but that's part of it because you know that you're growing so fast that nothing could be perfect. Mm-hmm. But you feel like every time you see a smile, every time you see a kid that looked like he was being unsuccessful in a traditional schooling, now comes to school, he's happy and he's telling his parents, I need to go early. And the parents say, but you don't have to go early. No, I do. I want to go early. You understand? So those things really change. And even students at other schools say they're bad. By the time they come through and they start to becoming, they're able to themselves take on some self-discipline and make some calls. they also realize, they start living up to it. And then you say, what was the problem with this one? He's actually very good. You understand? And all of a sudden, the parents feel like they're better parents, because they also feel like, I've done something good. Because we just got this whole system that we compete as parents, we compete as kids, we compete in everything. And then, we actually not just finding out people that can help us and move forward. So I think success for me is really you doing what you like and not having to go do something, but doing it if you love it. I think that's the big, and then also doing it with people you enjoy. There's businesses that maybe I could do that business and yes, we'd make money, but I just can't spend the time. I can't, uplift those people. I don't have energy to motivate them every day, and every time there's an issue, it's the end of the world. No, so saying no to that is good.
Yeah, absolutely. I read somewhere that said like running a business is like driving a bus. Don't worry about the destination. Just make sure that you have the right people with you for the journey.
No, there's so many secrets to business and I guess to life and all these kind of things. But in the end, common sense by trying things. Breathing one breath at a time. Something goes wrong, you say, let me wait for tomorrow. Many times time sorts out many things. Okay, making a new contact sorts out many problems. I think we've got to learn patience as well.
Right.
And but with patience, we have better quality life. We stop thinking about, is it failure? Or maybe it's just not the right time. It's coming. Because we've had that. I've had businesses that maybe haven't been successful because they were ahead of their time. And 2 years later, they would have been okay. So, is it unsuccessful? Was it a failure? No, it was just too good too early.
That's right. That temporary dysfunction, like, you're saying. You mentioned earlier in our conversation about this yearning for entrepreneurship, even when you were young. Where was that coming from? Were there entrepreneurs in your family, or was it just you? Where did the idea come from?
No, it came from an immigrant family. So, when your family can't give you anything, and because, we're surviving and we're trying to better our lives and we've lost everything. And you, in your own right, you say, geez, I need to do well so that I can have a better life and I can give a better life to my kids, to my family. So you sort of self-motivate yourself. You start to think, okay, for me to get a better life, it's going to be like this. You try things. Every time you try something, even if it fails, it's an experience. You're getting better. You've ticked one more box, all these kind of things. So for me, it was just a natural progression. And you see it, many young countries with immigrants, and they do super amazing, because they've got to create their own wealth. They're not waiting for the state. When you're in Africa, you have to do it yourself. You can't wait for the state. And then you also start to understand that it's the only way you get freedom in a way is by becoming financially free. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But also you understand that you can create wealth for those around you. So you sort of take others with you, and when you start to understand that with others, you actually grow quicker and you go further. Well, then it starts to become like a way of doing business, a way of doing life. So I think for me it was I learned a lot from a lot of tough immigrants. I learned a lot from that first wave that will do everything and just work and not live at all. Okay, because all they want to do is give their kids a better life. And then I sort of took a bit from here and a bit from here, and I thought, I can do that, but I also want to spend time with the family. I still want to do the other part. I think that's maybe where the mix came.
Yeah. And what was the first entrepreneurial trial you made, even if you were young as a kid? What was the first attempt in that spirit?
No, my first attempt was, I remember it well, it was pigs.
Pigs.
Clothes hanging pigs. I used to
pigs, okay.
Go
I heard pigs, sorry.
And break them and make these rocking chairs. And we used to sell them.
From pigs?
From pigs, with glue, pegs, and then varnish them.
Okay.
And it was great because we never had to buy the pigs. So my mom was buying pigs. The neighbors were buying pigs. My friends' parents had pigs. And we would take the pigs, build these rocking chairs that were like an ornament,
Okay.
and then sell them varnished, and then everyone would buy one because
like wooden pegs.
Wooden pegs, yeah. Nowadays they would be plastic, but in those days they were all wooden pegs, and it was the first business that we actually mass produced because we started to see, okay, you do those, you do those, you do those.
How old were you?
I was probably about 10 years old.
Oh my God. Okay, that's very sweet.
Yeah, but you grow fast when you're in a country that's entrepreneurial and you're an immigrant and your parents are working and to do something, you have to do something, So,
yeah. And speaking about education and entrepreneurship, you went back to education again in your life too, Chicago booth.
Yeah.
What was the reason for that? Because
I wanted to see if I'd missed out on something.
Okay.
And all I missed out on really was connecting with people again, having a network. So I really enjoyed the people I was doing it with. I won an award called the most politically incorrect student of Chicago booth for that. For that semester, because I really value what they're telling you and all that, but I value more the network, the people, and what I learned from them. Because books I can read, you can think through them, but people you learn so much from them, especially if you listen. If you listen, look, and you don't always have to fail to learn. Sometimes you can see what others have done and just learn. It's not. It's a lot better and it's a lot less costly if you sometimes do that.
How do we balance the responsibility between the society and the individual level to provide and have a good education?
The way I see it is education doesn't only come from the system. Okay? It starts with parents, etc. So we're all responsible for it, okay? Including community, including the way our leaders act, the way, what people are doing and what our youth are seeing. It's part of education. So it's gone a little bit, let's say, free for all. With regards to, let's say, the structured education, I think we can do so much more with so much less resources. I think we waste so many resources, and we actually lose a lot of students because we're trying to fit them all into one place. So I think our governments could spend a lot less in education. I think all of us helping a little bit would make it that it's not just the teachers because they have a tough job, I think our schools could be a lot more efficient in education. So I think, let's call it's a sector, an industry, whatever you want to call it, that is so fat, with so much fat, that it's bound to have to change. Okay? Because I actually look at it, our education, the system I have, can ultimately, it will be free. Ultimately, it will be free. Like what we're doing at the moment is we've taken, let's say, there used to be taxis and then Uber came, Lyft came, Bolt came. So we're one of these that are changing the taxis, and there's less taxis and more of these, and they're more efficient, they're cheaper, better quality, all that, great. I think that's where we're going. But overall, one day, I think there will be like buses that are free, that you just get on efficient and you don't even think about it, but it's a great transport system. It works for everyone. You get off when you want. You don't have to all go to the same place, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there's going to be a big change in education. I really believe, and I hope so, because
I hope so. Yeah.
We always say education's the most important thing. Education's the future. But then what do? We just drop off our kid and pick them up, and drop them off and pick them up and complain,
Yeah.
And that's where, I decided I wanted to be different. I wanted to stop complaining. I wanted to execute a plan. Not a very ambitious plan, like a plan that can be executed. You've done this visionary thing in education. No, I haven't. I've actually just been common sense, done a few things. And yes, it's changed the system of how we do it. But overall, it's highly executable, highly more efficient, and highly more personalized and flexible.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a good thing. That would be a product I would want.
Yeah.
And I sometimes look back now at traditional education and I think, how did I do it so long to my kids? But I also know it is changing because I look at like younger parents and they don't want that. They are like looking at something different. Older parents wanted that because, they only saw university as success.
Yeah, exactly.
Younger parents know it's not only university as success. There's so many other routes you can take now.
So that's my question to you, Tim. What is the value of traditional university diploma for you? Because you employ hundreds, if not thousands of people. What is the process like for you to evaluate someone's education now?
I think there's always going to be value in someone who's done a degree in that. It shows that, that they're committed, they persevere, they go through, etc., especially if they've done the right one. Mm-hmm. If they haven't, I feel sorry for them, because they've really been good at persevering. Mm-hmm. But are they going to be good at what they've learned? I think there are things that we are definitely going to need. University always, I want a doctor that knows what he's doing when he operates me. I know, but does he do 4 years in a building, or does he do a year in a building and 2 years operating and going and learning from someone who's doing it, and he's more hands-on from the beginning, and he sees more diseases from the beginning, and he makes a few more mistakes from the beginning, but it's experience. And then there are courses like, that I don't understand. You do like maybe coding for 3 years, when coding maybe should be done in a year and you should be working, because it's changing so fast. So why do these long degrees? And then there are degrees that, maybe they should be a half the time, and they should be a 20th of the price. Yeah. Okay? And I think that's where it's exciting, where there are going to be really good degrees that are done online, and you'll be able to go do them with other people, get through them with other people, and you can actually be working at the same time, and you can be a painter that's learning coding.
Yeah.
That not even Picasso could do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really exciting. Yeah. So I think there will be changes. Like for me, there are a lot of people that want to now employ no degrees, because they almost feel like they can shape them into the DNA of their company, and they'll teach them what they need to know. Because sometimes you get these people with a lot of skills and bad attitudes, and you obviously prefer their attitude more than the skill. Yeah. So if I interview someone, got no degree, but he's got a great attitude, I know he's going to learn stuff. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I want that person next to me learning and executing. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there's going to be a lot of companies that are going to say, finish high school and come to us and we'll tell you what you need to know. Okay? Yeah. And after 3 years, you're going to forget all that, and I'm going to teach you new stuff because we've moved on. Mm-hmm. You got Moore's law that says technology changes every 2 years, but we're teaching people over 3-4 years. Mm-hmm. How is that even possible then? If we know all these things, but we just keep repeating them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I also think, technology in the tertiary side is really going to come down also in price. And, you've got all this student debt and all these problems, and, it's times are changing. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. And I agree. Do you sometimes think the education should be more kind of not distributed to so many years, but more compressed in a way?
Yeah, I think it should be more like given on what is your interest.
Yeah.
Because we're running low on plumbers. We're running low on a lot of barbers. When I was traveling, I went on this trip around the world. It took me like 6 visits to be able to finally cut my hair. Because the barbers were all too busy and you had to book. I've never even heard of these things, So there are things that are different. And maybe being a barber isn't your passion, but it might be good for 4 or 5 years while you're building something and learning something else. Do you understand? A plumber, maybe it's not the thing you thought you would want to be, but you could actually make more money than a chartered accountant. Sure. You understand? So these are the kind of things that I think you'll start to become more, not about time, but about more interest and specific driven. Okay? Because why sometimes if you're going to be doing something that has nothing to do with biology, why have you done it for 5 years?
I know.
And why do you get rated on it for 5 years if you're never going to do anything to do with biology?
Yeah, exactly.
While you could, for those 5 years, have done what you were more interested in, and you would have been more expert at it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you because I studied a lot of things. I studied archaeology and anthropology for 4 years. And then I have a master's in filmmaking and a master's in cognitive brain sciences. And I feel like I could have learned what I needed to learn in 5 to 6 years, basically. And the only reason why I didn't drop out was it wasn't too hard. I had to memorize and then just recite. So I want to talk about dropout rates because there's a lot of talk about dropout rates. How do we reduce these rates? But I feel like people don't question enough the reasons behind it thoroughly. Of course, there are students who kind of gain beautiful, important opportunities to study at very good universities and cannot afford it, and then they have to drop out, and that's sad. But then there are a lot of faults with the system that make people like you just walk away. And what is your take on that dropout? Where do we stand, and how can we have a more kind of thorough understanding?
The way to drop dropouts is become more relevant. Okay, the way to drop dropouts is have people studying what they're really passionate about and keeping them passionate about it by really not giving them stuff to memorize, but making them think and adding value to what they're studying. So we really need to look at it in a different way. I think, for myself, I see it. It's it's not just dropout rates we have to talk about. It's depression rates, anxiety rates. There's so many issues that are out there, which are all made by us trying to just all be the same. Okay, we're not going to be the same. We're not the same. It is what it is. We need to get over it. We need to become much more personalized in what we're doing. All right, and yes, we need to be a lot quicker in learning. If you look at a kid who's learning something that he's passionate about on YouTube, within 2-3 weeks, he's really good at it. Much better than anyone who was maybe going to study it for a year that wasn't passionate about it. That kid knows a lot. They do incredible stuff, And I think that's what's exciting now, is that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to think, do I have to do this degree, or do I get this skill, become really good at it? And everyone starts saying, you're really good at that.
Yeah.
And you start to be seen. And especially in this world now, with if you're really good at something, you can really grow at it. You can become an influencer. You can do this, you can do that. But you've got to first really like it to be good at it. And it's not what your parents have told you. It's very rarely all that, because when you like something, you'll put your 10,000 hours into it. If you don't, and it's never really monetary that makes you drop out. It's more, you've lost interest, you're questioning yourself. It's like all these excuses come through, et cetera, et cetera. So, I think dropout, anxiety, depressions, what are we studying? Why are we still studying so many things that we don't need?
Exactly.
There's so many things you're not going to get a job with.
No.
And you know what? You're just going to go into the unemployed. You spoke about film, Columbia Film. The average person comes out of there with almost 200,000 debt, okay? And the average salary that they get is $37,000 a year.
Yeah.
How do you ever pay that back?
Exactly.
It's almost like saying you are screwed. If you go to Columbia, and it's Columbia.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Maybe we don't need so many of those. And maybe we need some more of something else that we don't have. And we've got huge, if you think about it at the moment, there are huge pockets of people needed that we can't fulfill.
Yeah.
And the world has changed. You can be a nomad living in somewhere totally, you can be living in a desert and working for Google. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So we need to give those skills. I know just here in Portugal, we need probably around 50,000 computer engineers a year. We're producing 4,000. So maybe we should quickly change our educational system to supply 25,000.
Yeah.
But no, only 4,000 get in. That's what we stick at. So I think we're going to have to become more adaptive, a lot more reactive to what the needs are in this world. It will help equality, because we've got a big problem at the moment. The inequality is growing. We talk about climate change, talk about inequality. And, we talk about climate change, but if you a Westerner, we producing and using 6 times more energy than someone who's from Asia. Yet we are telling them, they need to improve the world.
Yeah.
Well, we need to see how we're going to improve the world. There's so many ways that we still can influence our own world in climate. But in the end, it's always mostly about equality. We need to actually see how are those people in Asia going to improve, but without becoming like us, wasting all the stuff. And how can we go lower, but still keep, obviously, this what we're comfortable with, And one of those big things is what you're mentioning, success. How do we see ourselves?
Yeah.
We used to see ourselves by having a house that has 5 rooms and we 2 people. And we have 6 TVs in that room and et cetera, et cetera. It's consumption. And our TV ads tell us you're successful if you buy a car every year. You're successful if you do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? It's all consumption. So there's a lot of ways that education can change that. Because instead of studying history, maybe we should study future.
Yeah.
Well, by studying future...
Again, common sense, like you say, right?
By studying future, we know that what I do today will influence the world like that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can't change history. I can learn a few things from it, but then I should really learn about the future. What will I do to change it? How will I help more? How will I create wealth, not just for me, but for a lot of people?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff to do, but education is in the foundation of everything. It really is, without a doubt.
Do you have plans for Brave Generation University, maybe?
No.
No?
No. We've got plans to have our hubs really change, our students' lives that are 12 to 18. Mm-hmm. And in the evening, our hub gives you more skills. Okay. And maybe that's older, more mature people that come in the evening and come learn something that helps them. And, if that's cut a hair, if that's the whatever that little region, that area needs, they can come learn at our hub. Mm-hmm. Okay? So we won't impose it, but we'll welcome whatever's needed. Yeah. And I think that's what our hubs can do. So when we look at Brave Generation Academy, I don't want to be a university. I don't want to be a school. I want to use stuff that exists. I want to be a platform for so many great ideas that are coming. It's like an ecosystem. There's so many people coming up with great ideas. Mm-hmm. Well, bring them to Brave. You can teach them at Brave. You can share them at Brave. Mm-hmm. And you can do it with kids. And in the evening, you can do it with adults. That's what we would like to do. And
by the time they are graduated, they are ready for life.
They'll never graduate. They'll be learning for the rest of their lives.
That's true.
They will learn, and learn again. And it'll be definitely, we used to go to school, go to high school, go to university, work, retire and die. Now we'll sort of like live, go on holidays, work, take a break sometimes, learn something new, and, die. You might never retire because that will be life. I think it's changing really, really fast. And once more, governments might be lucky because, if we carried on doing what we were doing, they don't have enough money to look after us. We'll have to ourselves adapt to the system just to look after ourselves. And also it will be what we want. I believe that.
Do you think they will then start changing their perspective of the education, the governments?
I'm not going to wait. Because if I wait,
it's going to take forever.
It takes long. It's a big machine. It's a comfortable machine. So we don't want to wait.
Okay. Tim, thank you so much for your time. I feel like we spent the entire episode talking about education and I couldn't even touch the entrepreneurship part. I hope we will have you again here. Thank you so much.
Part 2. Yeah.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.